Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy MJ. Just wanted to say a little something about this special content that we're bringing you from Hospice Daron and Paso Robles. These episodes are made possible by the generous contribution of Jeremy Leffert and Mel Burns. Everybody, just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge the wonderful support of the Leffert and Burns Foundation. See what I did there, Jeremy, for you and Mel? I'm podcasting your future for you. But thank you for making these special episodes available to all the listeners.
Big up.
Hey, everybody, what's up? It's your boy MJ. Welcome to the Black Wine Guy Experience Before the Pour, a.k.a. 20 Questions with MJ. My guest today is music producer, fashion designer, foodie, wino, and DJ Skinny Pablo. He's based out of LBC, that's Long Beach, California. Skinny Pablo was born and raised on the island of Guam. He has recording credits including Lee Scratch Perry, Cypress Hill, and Public Enemy. Skinny Pablo DJs events such as RieslingStudy and started his own party called Riesling Reggae in Los Angeles. And his favorite wine, go figure, is Mosel Riesling. He loves to read Bukowski and do art in his spare time. Welcome, Skinny Pablo.
Yo, what's up, man? So happy to be here.
Yeah, this is dope. What we're going to do to warm up a bit before we get into the pod proper, I do this thing where I ask you some personal questions followed by...
Can I pour up first?
Yeah, let's pour up. Yeah,
Here, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. This is going to be a live one.
All right. So we got the Stein Ona 2017er. So it's got,
It's got a little something.
It's got a little something. I was actually afraid when I, not afraid, but very happy that I opened these without destroying the cork, because when I'm not super pro or super that many years into the wine game, and like I used to destroy corks like all the time.
You're gonna have to say this again, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just a warm up.
Oh, okay.
That's dope. Okay, so check it out. The key is answer them quickly. First thing comes to your head. No right or wrong.
Oh, okay. We're doing warm up.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought this was the podcast already.
Well,
the warm up.
Nah, man.
I thought it's the warm up in
ready.
the podcast.
It is.
So it's not recording yet.
It is recording.
Oh, okay.
This is bonus stuff.
Bonus material.
Yes. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book?
Yes.
Whoa. I've only read like 4 books.
Shouldn't be too hard to answer.
Can I list all 4 of them?
Sure.
Okay, we got Women by Charles Bukowski. We got Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
That's a good one.
Then we got, what was the other one? I don't know if I read it then. I can't remember.
All right.
I thought I had 4.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Wow. Dude, that's a hard one. It changes. I'm going to say Big Lebowski.
Ah, I love that one. This is another tough one. Who's your favorite musical artist besides yourself?
Favorite musical artist?
It should be you.
It definitely is me, because I'm all I got. But I really like Madlib.
Oh yeah.
I like Jay Dilla. I like the beat, like DJ Muggs, Lee Perry. I'm gonna say Lee Perry's my favorite because he's the one who created all of this. Basically,
nice. Very nice.
Where everything stemmed from.
What's your favorite food? Last meal? What's Skinny Pablo having?
My favorite food.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite food in the world is Purple Haze carrots from Trader Joe's. It beats everything.
I love it.
If I had to pick one, people were like, "What can you pick?" I'm like, "You can't really live off of nicely off of bread and like certain types of just a nice carrot. Just eat those." For
It's
the
got
rest
a
of your
lot.
life.
There are a lot of nutrients in carrots. He's not lying.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
I think there's nothing but good from carrots. I don't think a carrot can be bad for you unless you don't chew it.
Yeah. Favorite athlete?
Favorite athlete? I'm gonna say Mike Tyson.
See that whoop ass he put on that dude on the plane?
Yeah, I felt kind of bad because I'm like, why were you picking on Mike Tyson?
That's what I'm saying. Why do people still fucking with Mike Tyson?
was like, what are you even fucking with him for, dude?
Exactly.
I mean, this is not gonna go right, but also it's just like just be cool.
My producer was like, he wanted a lawsuit, But yeah, I do feel bad for Mike. So this will be interesting. You grew up in Guam. This is going to sound ignorant. Favorite cartoon? I was like, did they show I mean, it's American though, so yeah.
Cartoons. We were big into like Japanese cartoons.
Okay.
So, I don't know, man. Favorite cartoon growing up? I mean, we also got all the American stuff.
but it makes sense from where it's located that you would have an influence, so far in the South Pacific.
I mean, when you're growing up as a kid, you go through so many phases so quickly. So I guess, it changes. But favorite cartoon of all time is probably something like Dragon Ball Z or Gundam Wing. I don't know if you've seen those.
No, I was a little bit.
Animes.
I know Dragon Ball Z though. I remember that one very well. Favorite cereal?
Favorite cereal?
Yeah, cold cereal.
Oh man, it's not around anymore, but it's the Rice Krispies Treats cereal. I don't know if you ever seen it.
No.
It came in like a teal box, and it was like dried Rice Krispie Treats. Like they were just all broken into like these nuggets type thing. It was so bad for you.
That sounds so decadent. I'm being nice.
It's
so sugary.
I couldn't believe that I was eating that as a kid. Like I kind of freaked out. I was like, who the fuck bought me this? Like, why would you buy anybody this? This is like, now I'm eating carrots.
I know.
So and now, the opposite of Rice Krispie Treats.
What do you do for exercise? How do you stay in shape?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you right now. Billy Blank's Taibo, aerobic. There's like a 2001 video. You find it on YouTube. That's the only one I like the flow of it. The music's cool and old, and like he's got it's not really kickboxing. It's just a way of moving about.
Yeah, it's movement. I love it.
Moving, and it's it's pretty intense way. I would actually watch it and make beats to it and sync my beats up and just like be like, all right, let's get rid of that old whack soundtrack. Like, we'll just put this cool one in, then I'll just make beats and do Taibo to my beats in my room. Or
that's
in the studio,
dope.
that's dope. On the rug,
Who's your favorite comedian?
Favorite comedian? Oh man, I have so many favorite comedians. I'm gonna say I love Rodney. I love comedy, but I love Rodney Dangerfield.
Dude, you're old school with it. I love it.
The thing is about that guy is like most comedians these days, it's like, can you just hurry the fuck up and say something funny? Like that guy would say everything he said was funny.
Yeah,
like
every one-liners, they just kept coming. Yeah, this is a good point.
And
you make a very good point.
It doesn't matter to me if he's like got a spiel, he's like doing routine. It's like, oh, we heard that joke before. It's like, well, it's still fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like it's like a great song.
All those older comedians, they had an act. They did the same act.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that.
Who's your favorite comedian?
I gotta say it's Chappelle. He can meander a bit, but when he tells a story though, man, like he's like, anyway, that's not the point. The whole point, like he'll tell you this whole fucking funny thing, and he goes, but that's not even the point.
if my favorite comedian wasn't Rodney Dangerfield, it'd be Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
like I just kind of like got introduced to Rodney later in life.
No, that's even doper. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate, because you made me go back. I'm like, yeah, he was funny as shit. Like HBO young comedians, even though it wasn't young, it was just like this thing in the 80s. Who would you most like to have a bottle of wine with? We have a time machine, we have a flux capacitor, we can bring back. Who would you want to drink a bottle of wine with?
Oh man, who would I like to have a bottle of wine with?
Yeah,
I like to have some of Jesus's wine.
For sure.
I want to have that miracle wine.
Exactly.
Like what kind of wine was that?
That's very true. He said he turned water into wine, but like they weren't specific. They weren't like was it white wine? Was it red wine? Was it Riesling? Was it Spätburgunder?
I mean, in the era he was around, I think Romans were around. So those guys planted a bunch of Riesling.
Yeah.
From my knowledge.
Wait, oh my God! Now I'm thinking. So, but wasn't he? Where did they crucify him, in Rome or Jerusalem? Jerusalem, right? Right.
I can't remember the exact
we got
location.
A very religious crew.
I can't remember the exact location.
Well, because I'm saying if it was Jerusalem, It was probably some Mediterranean vials. It might have been.
Yeah.
Right. That's all. That's why I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. This is a deep question.
But I believe everything was under Roman rule at the time.
Right.
So
I think,
Romans probably
right.
brought down
That's
all
right.
their stuff
That's
from
true.
everywhere.
That's
you know,
true.
It's the empire, which is crazy.
This is one of the best before the wars.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Skinny, we're going to turn our attention to the 10 questions made famous by James Lipton on Inside the Actors Studio.
Perfect.
Skinny Pablo, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Moist.
You know what's so dope? What I think is so dope about that is that has been so many people's least favorite word, and I don't understand why. And I know why it's your favorite word, and it's mine too. But when people, I was like, anyway, I digress. I love that. That's your favorite word.
Yeah.
Conversely, what is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word. All the bad words. It's like I don't want to be saying that, but you know, sometimes. Let's just ban the bad words.
Okay. Bad words, be gone.
Bad words, be gone.
All right. What turns you on?
What turns me on?
Mm-hmm.
In what kind of way? Music.
There you go.
Great music.
There it is.
It's been known to stimulate your brain more than anything else.
Yep. It's a light up.
Creating a new song, a new sound.
Well, conversely, what turns you off?
Turns me off. Oh man. Turns off. What turns off Skinny Pablo or is what is it? Unkindness. Someone's unkind.
Mean.
And generally
Meanness.
mean.
Yeah.
Yes, meanness is like ooh. You know, it's like there's no reason for that in the presence of me.
I love it. What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise?
Mm-hmm.
I love the sound of like the sound of birds chirping.
Very nice.
It's always great. I like trying to recreate it as a sound designer. You can recreate it with your synthesizer or in the computer program. Birds are cool. Lasers are cool.
Nice. What sound or noise do you hate?
Sound or noise? I'm as a DJ or as someone, whatever, just my personal preference. When I listen to music loud, like on sound systems, I don't like the middle frequencies. 1,000 hertz. It's like turn that shit down because I'm trying to hear myself think. You know, if you're playing music, this is advice to DJs.
I'm thinking, right? Like this is like kind of dope, right? It's a completely different episode about to come your way.
if you're about to DJ in front of Skinny Pablo, please cut your mids. That's what we call it, cutting the mids, because that's the frequency that we talk at. And I like it when people can hang out with music being fucking loud and still like chill, chat, eating. They got the wine. You know, bass doesn't affect it, so like crank the bass up. You know,
got it.
Love bass.
Okay, I have to ask, what's your favorite curse word? And you could use the euphemism, but what's your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word?
Mm-hmm.
Cursing. Let me see. Probably fuck.
Yep. It can't go wrong.
Or, so I'm from the island of Guam. We have a word that's like the equivalent of that, which is, it's not like fuck. It's like, it's Latnya.
Latnya?
You say, Latnya, black wine guy, let's drink that wine. Like, hey, Latnya, dude, how come you're not pouring the wine?
I love it.
So it's just kind of like a...
Yeah, it's like, fuck, dude, pour the wine.
Yeah.
I love it. Latnya.
Latnya?
All right. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh, man. I feel like I have multiple professions right now.
I was gonna say, like, what do you have a profession?
I'm like,
you just do a lot. You do a lot of stuff.
I do a lot of stuff, man. Like I basically like my lifestyle is my profession. So I'm like, but if I could do something to like learn, like be hardcore about learning something, man, this is a tough one. Because right now I do the clothes, the music. I started doing food pop-ups, culinary. pouring wine. I got that off the list. I don't know. Probably just to keep doing whatever I'm doing. More of it, like bigger.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I would love to be like at Cedar-Sinai Hospital. I'm like, paging Dr. Skinny Pablo. Dr. Skinny Pablo.
Oh, yes. I prescribe 2 joints for everything, all right? 2 joints. But I'd say profession, man. I'd like to be a probably like a big business owner, you know, like something like that.
Yeah,
like, you know, own a franchise or something.
Okay.
Like, just have that happen.
All right. And what profession would you not like to do?
What I not like to do?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's too many. It's too many to list. But the least favorite profession at this point in my life, I mean, it probably, I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, man. Like, you know, because in your mind, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, you can find in your train of thought balance to be like, you know, enjoy whatever it is you're doing. Like, I could be sweeping, I could be a janitor, and still be like, well, whatever, this is great. You know, I'm getting paid to do like some simple shit.
I'm a good sweeper.
Yeah. Sweeping, you get paid to sweep. That's crazy. Like fucking, that's like,
you know,
that's an easy job, dude.
I never thought of it that way.
I'm like, dude, but fucking sweeping.
You
like,
make a very good point. Holy shit!
I'm house sitting right now. Like, I don't get paid to sweep in there. Like fucking, but yeah, I'd say job that I wouldn't want to do, man. DMV, just because everybody treats you like shit.
Like, hey, well, everybody hates you.
I met someone from the DMV on the airplane like a few months ago when I was flying back to LA from Austin, and I met a lady that works at the DMV, and she's like, you can skip the line like anytime, dude, because she saw me doing art on the plane. I gave her some art. She was like, oh, you got some cool clothes. I'm like, yeah, here's stickers, you know. She's like, I'm gonna get some for my kids or whatever. And I was like, hey, kid, if I go to the DMV, can I just like ask for you and skip the line? She's like, fuck yeah, you can. Like, let's do it.
DJ Skinny Pablo making connections on the flight back from Austin. He's VIP at the DMV.
VIP at the DMV, dude. Like, you just go there, ask for Kathy, Tarzana, DMV. It's like an hour and a half drive from where I'm at, but I'm like, you know what?
But
I'm gonna have to wait
an hour. Exactly, you're gonna wait two and a half at the regular DMV. So screw it.
Yeah, just go up there, go cut the line.
All right, man. And lastly, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What would God say? I don't think God says anything. I think it's just existence is like, this is it, you know.
I said if he exists.
If he did.
And there are pearly gates.
I think what he would say, so you're asking me what he would say?
To you.
What he would say to me, it'd probably be like a really pleasant sound. It wouldn't even be words. It'd be like a vibration, just like, overwhelming.
I would have
bass.
thought even like, we got a bottle of Keller GG and 2 joints over there on the table for you.
I think he'll just wrap me in bass, like he has, you know, like a giant subwoofer sound, just completely wrapped in bass. But yeah, maybe, you know, just say welcome, dude.
There you go. Bless up. Okay, everybody, this was fun. I can't wait to get into the podcast.
Oh, this isn't the podcast yet?
No,
I thought this was the podcast.
Nah, dude, this is it before the pour. Make sure you tune into my episode with Skinny Pablo. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, everybody, what's up? It's your boy, MJ. Welcome to the Black Wine Guy Experience. My guest today is music producer, fashion designer, foodie, aspiring sommelier, and DJ Skinny Pablo. Based out of Long Beach, California, LBC, Skinny Pablo was born and raised on the island of Guam. He has recording credits including Lee Scratch Perry, Cypress Hill, and Public Enemy. Skinny Pablo DJs events such as RieslingStudy and started his own party called Riesling Reggae in Los Angeles. His favorite wine is Mosel Riesling. He loves to read Bukowski and do art in his spare time, which is very few. Welcome, Skinny Pablo. So, man,
welcome.
Thank you for being here. Tell everybody about the wines we're going to be drinking this afternoon.
The wines we're drinking right now.
Yep.
This afternoon we got the Stein Ona 2017er made by Uli Stein, the greatest. And we also got his other one. Oh, so the Ona is a unfiltered no sulfites. It's just like it's
yeah, you can tell it's got a slightly oxidative thing going on, which you would expect. So it's reminiscent of like a what's that region? Can't think of it, but like a Vinjon. But yeah, little oxidative. Yes, but nice golden color. And what's the other bottle?
We got the Stein Alferhölle, which means hell in German, and that comes from a vine that's, I think it's like 120 years old.
Wow.
With these little tiny grapes on it. And so the hill is called hell because it's basically vertical. And Uli Stein's and it's ungrafted vine, so he's got to climb up this cliffside basically and pick grapes that are so small so we can enjoy it on the Black Wine Guy podcast. I'm so excited.
Well, man, I'm excited you're here. Like I said in the intro, I met Skinny Pablo through RieslingStudy, and a guest last year was Robert Dentis, a.k.a. Soil Pimp. Shout out to
Soil Pimp.
Robert, and shout out to Renee. Robert and Renee, amazing couple that put on the most inclusive wine events in the world. Bottom line, boom.
I just as like an event of any kind, I've seen a lot of parties, but that party it's the best party in the world. Like, to me, it's just it's like entering. You were there in Chicago?
I wasn't in Chicago. I was in Philly the last time.
Oh yeah,
the Philly one was dope.
The Philly one. Oh yeah, so Philly, all of them, like it's like going into a portal of just like beauty, dude. It's it feels so crazy to just walk in a room and you see like hundreds of humans, just like hundreds of bottles, and everybody's just pouring each other up, having a good time, and there's music playing, like crazy music, jazz. I'm DJing my beats, which is, I don't know, it's such a fun time, man. And it's Riesling too, which is crazy. Apparently in the wine world, I guess, like,
yeah, it's like, there's nothing like it. It's very niche, but like I told Renee at the Philly one, because we just did one a couple weeks ago.
Philly one,
but that Philly one was so live. Like people came, you came from LA, people came from Chicago, people came from all over the country, and
they know.
And I told her, I was like, this reminded me of late mid '90s clubs. Like if you were there, you were cool. You were just cool. Like there was no like, oh, we need to be inclusive. Like it just was inclusive. Everybody fucking comes, they have a fucking good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, so I agree. I mean, and we're gonna get into your story.
Late mid '90s club.
Yeah. Like a New York City club. Like if you went to Nell's in the '90s, man, like everybody was there. It was like
Nell's. How do you spell that?
Nell''S. Remember Nell's?
Oh, okay.
Or were you down in DC? Oh yeah, Nell's. Yeah, shout out. Y'all who know around, y'all know about Nell's for sure.
Wow, okay.
But it was the in crowd, but this is the Riesling crowd, and it just is a beautiful thing, like you said. So, and I was gonna say, like, would you consider yourself the unofficial DJ of RieslingStudy, or the official DJ of RieslingStudy?
I'd say I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I just show up and Skinny Pablo here to lay down some records, but I think I've DJ'd a majority of them.
You have. I mean, it's and Robert always, it was like the real trick is getting Skinny Pablo on the plane, making sure his ass gets over here from LA sometimes.
Yeah, I've never missed a flight except for, the one leaving the RieslingStudy is the flight I missed one time. I thought, I woke up one morning, it's like, your flight left. I was like, fuck, I thought it was in like 3 hours or something, but it's all right. It happens. I blame the cannabis.
There you go.
So, no, I don't blame that. No. I can't blame anything, but it is what it is. Sometimes you have to book another flight.
Sometimes you miss a flight. All right, man. So let's go back to the beginning. Guam.
Oh,
Guam.
yeah.
We're the beginning.
Speaking of flights, it's like 13, 15 hours from here.
Yeah, from New York or from how far is it from LA?
From LA, it's like 13, 15 hours.
That's right, yeah.
From here, I haven't even checked yet, but
So tell people, I know very little about Guam. I might have seen something in a World War II movie. Tell people where it's located, kind of like what the indigenous population consists of, because tell people about it.
Okay, it's probably better if I pull up like Google, but Guam, I was born and raised there. All I know, it's like growing up on vacation. You grow up in vacation and you just, I don't know, you just have this vacation mentality for the rest of your life, I think. Very slow. I mean, that's just me, though. Like,
no, I mean, no, I wish I should have my phone, but like, so is it near like American Samoa? No, that's okay. Like,
no,
it's in relationship to like Japan, Australia. Like,
right.
Where is it? It's in the Pacific.
It's in the South Pacific, in the Micronesian islands, the Marianas Island chain, which is like right along the what's the deepest part of the globe? The Marianas Trench. So it's like the deepest part of the ocean, where you look at this ocean all the time. It's super dark blue. It's beautiful, but yeah, Guam's located over there, and it's part of this island chain called the Marianas Islands, which are like some really small islands, but the population is like 150,000, and that's everybody that's on the island. Then you got the indigenous, the natives like myself. We're called Chamorro.
Okay.
The native Chamorros. There's probably like about like 100,000 of us in the globe. Like a lot of them are in California.
Or Hawaii, maybe?
Not really Hawaii. Like, a lot of them just live on the West Coast, you know? It's like there's people in Oregon, Seattle, and California, and probably, Hawaii. We're all spread out, but then you got, on Guam, the population is probably like half Chamorro, and the rest is all kinds of people from like Asia, from out here. There's military, so it's like a real blending pot of all kinds of cultures, basically, and that's where the food over there is pretty cool. It's very pure, which is pretty interesting. Whereas out here, it's like crazy, like mixed all that, but it's very traditional food.
So there's like only 100,000 of your people, like, and that's amazing.
Yeah, we're very rare. It's very rare that I meet someone else that's Chamorro, like ever. Like I never see them in public. You don't see anybody like me, but I'm kind of ambiguous in the way I look.
Are. I know. Like, when you hear Pablo, you think, and hear LBC is like, oh, he's Mexican American, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody knows. I mean, like, I get people speaking all kinds of languages to me, so I'm like, all right, let me go on Duolingo and start learning all the languages. Like. Yeah, I think maybe going to South America would be fun.
Yeah.
But it'll fit in or whatever. I don't know.
So let's talk about.
I'm not about fitting in though.
No, you're definitely not, and that's what's dope about you. What? So you said the food is pure. So like, what was like, kind of like, because we're gonna get to like where you are with food now, but like obviously it's an island nation, so I would assume fresh seagot has got to be a staple.
Oh yeah. Fresh tuna, like just beautiful fish all the time. Sushi, got a bunch of Japanese restaurants. The Japanese were like the biggest population of tourists, so we have tourists come over. So it's just like a place to just come eat and drink and party, basically. And that's I don't know, it's very reflective in my lifestyle right now. I love throwing parties. Like that's all we did growing up on the island was like you go to like 3 parties in a day with it, and there's everybody there. It's like the kids, the grandma, like everybody's at the party. Everybody's having a good time. There's people, you got the uncles and the cousins smoking weed all the way over there. You got everybody drinking, like, and there's just tons of food, like, all the time. That's the Chamorro culture of like doing like fiestas and stuff like that. But then you get all the tourist stuff, which is like for the Japanese. So we had tons of Japanese food, like great Japanese food, very pure.
Did you guys ever do and I don't want to sound ignorant, but like a whole pig roast or a hog roast or a boar roast?
I've seen whole pigs before. That's always that's like, common at the parties.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, lots of meats, like barbecued meats. We have a special sauce that I fucking love. It's called finadeni.
Finadeni.
And finadeni is okay, I'll give you guys the recipe right now, but you gotta maybe experiment yourself because everybody's finadeni is different. It's all ratios, but it's soy sauce and acidic. Like usually, I love lemon.
Okay.
Some people use vinegar, but lemon. Then we got this thing called dunny, which is basically what's very similar to. It's a hot pepper, like a Thai chili pepper.
Okay.
Called dunny, and you blend it up with like garlic or something. You make Yeah, that's what it's called, like the paste, and then you throw that in, and it adds like this crazy spice to everything. Then you can throw in some onions, whatever. That's it. That's about it. But this sauce, we put it on like everything, like every kind of meat you can put it on, and I swear it goes great with Riesling because of the acidity. You know, like, it makes anything go great with Riesling. But you put it on chicken, you put it on rice. Man, like there's some great dishes that are from that island that I don't even really make, but you know, I grew up in the kitchen doing all kinds of stuff, and I translate it into my own how I feel like what I should be eating. You know, I mostly eat plant-based at home, so I kind of use like similar techniques, especially from that sauce. You know, I'll reverse engineer it and make it with different things to make it more like it's like modern like fusion. Whatever. It's like, I could sell this to someone in California for like $17.
And yet another job for Skinny Pablo.
Exactly. Yeah. So I create jobs.
You create stuff. Yeah.
I create jobs for myself. I want to create jobs for other people.
Yeah.
You know, but right now it's just always expanding the knowledge on whatever it is. You know, it takes years to become comfortable like doing stuff like understanding wines or making food, or even making clothes and understanding how, or even business, like how all that stuff works.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. What other, were there any other interesting or fun traditions? I love like your philosophy, like, how you like, I kind of live this party life but any customs traditions that your family would do?
Oh man. Mostly just partying, man. It's like just throw I remember like growing up when your family's always partying is like, I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
It's nothing like
even at school.
My Jehovah's Witness growing up has.
even at school, you grew up Jehovah's Witness. That's cool. I have some friends on Guam that are Jehovah's Witness.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, but we, yeah, man, just party all the time. I remember. I mean, since this is a drinking show, one of my first instances with like alcohol, which alcoholic beverage is Guinness. It was my grandfather, rest in peace. It was my grandfather's like 80th birthday or something.
Wow.
Or maybe 75th birthday. I'm trying to think. No, yeah, it was like his 80th birthday, and we had, was it 80th? Fuck, man, I can't remember. It was one of his birthdays, and we had a crazy party. Like, they brought he's from Ireland, and his favorite beer was Guinness. So, like, they had, like, 1,000 bottles of Guinness at this party, and I was in high school, like, not allowed to drink at the party. But then afterwards, like, me and my friends just, like, took, like, all the leftover, like maybe, like, 150 bottles of Guinness and brought it to the beach for, like, 5 kids. Like, it's, like, 5 of us and, like, a ton of Guinness, man. It's, like, that did not end well.
No.
It didn't. Well, you give a bunch of kids some Guinness.
That's some. Yeah.
We skipped school, and it was like it's not fun. Like after we all got caught, but whatever. Yeah, just growing up partying all the time.
Okay.
It was you learn a lot about. You don't really think about it at the time, but you learn about a lot about generosity and bringing people together and just knowing how to enjoy life with other humans, and we're all just coming together mostly because we're like all related or whatever. It'd be like family parties, but then bring all the friends and friends and like my uncle, my dad's brother, throws a crazy party over there, kind of similar to RieslingStudy. I mean, it's like not wine or anything, but he'll bring all the local bands out. He'll line up a feast. We'll have kegs. We'll have all kinds of stuff. Like the pig will be out at his law office, and like they'll just have
at his law office,
and they'll just have a fucking party all day, man. Like usually on Christmas, they'll just have a party like all fucking day.
That's a law firm I could have worked for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty fun law firm.
Sounds like it. And excuse me, everybody. I just got back from Hospice Daron. I've did so much talking over the past week.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
I got it. I'm
coat your throat with some Riesling.
Yeah, I need to. I'm gonna have to start getting a protocol like tea and all that shit.
Some honey.
Yeah, but
Bob Marley did. Lee Scratch Perry told him to drink honey and lime juice, I think, or honey and lemon. He told me to drink lime juice and water.
Okay.
But lemon and honey was Bob Marley. He would use that for his voice because sometimes his voice would get, worn out from all the recording.
It's worn out, which I never thought I could do. But like we're next leveling this shit. So
yes.
So you said you grew up in Guam. Like, how old were you when you moved to the States?
I was probably like 19, 20.
Okay, so we're going to pause there. So that's different. So I want to go back. So it seems as if, how would Skinny Pablo's mom describe him as a child? Introverted, extroverted?
Oh, man. My mom
little ruffian?
My mom did not understand me at all when I was a kid. I was very, I don't know. I was just immediately like a dark artist. like drawing skulls, drawing this. I remember one time when I was like 5, like I just, the kindergarten, I was caught just doing graffiti like all over the school, like drawing with a crayon. And my mom comes to pick me up, and there I am like scrubbing it off, It's just like stuff like that. Just being a crazy little artist kid, and I was just always rebellious, man. Like my whole existence, it's always been like, just doing what. Oh, this is existing is very strange, and sometimes you just do things that's just like what, like other people are like, why the fuck is he doing that? Like, like why would you skip school and you and all your friends like bring a bunch of beer with you, like 1,000 bottles of Guinness and like
that one's quite obvious. I mean, maybe not. Maybe not on Guam.
Yeah, maybe not on Guam.
But here.
Yeah.
I love that. So you said, why did you move to the States? Now, did you come with your family or you come all alone?
I originally the crazy party life. I was like, I gotta get out of this. So I ran away. I ran away from home and lived with a girlfriend in Salt Lake City. My girlfriend at the time in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Well, okay.
I escaped.
Wait. So this is. I was gonna say. So he wanted to escape partying on Guam, so he comes to the United States. But then he said Salt Lake City.
Maybe not just partying, but it's like you gotta get out because it's like it's very small, dude. It's like a small town vibe. It's like, and my family would come out to LA like every once in a while for like vacation, and I had friends that all went off to school, and I was still stuck on the island. I was like, I gotta get out of here, like, go do something with myself. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be here the whole time, just being on an island, like, I'm just partying, like, I gotta accomplish something. You gotta make something of yourself. Like, partying is fun, but you gotta party and do things. And I felt Los Angeles, and I first landed in Salt Lake City, where I was a musician playing with I played with this hippie band, like a hippie rock band, living on my girlfriend's bed at the time. Then eventually we moved out to Los Angeles. But yeah, that's basically what it is. And I came out for school.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask you some follow-up questions. And the title show, it's Skinny Pablo Knows How to Party with a Purpose, right? Because now he's making something of his life by partying, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. How does and remind me of the name of your indigenous people?
Chamorro.
How does a Chamorro meet a young lady from Salt Lake City, Utah?
Oh no, she was from Guam too. So like I knew her from Guam, and she went out there for school, for college.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like, hey then I'm just gonna come out there and run away and like live on your bed. Is that cool? It's like, yeah, sure, all right. Then like then I went there, and I was just like, I don't know. When I started making rewind. Like before Salt Lake City, I lived in LA for like a year maybe.
Okay, how'd you land in LA? Just
because
you said
LA. I wanted to go to film school.
Okay,
so like
cool.
I went out there, and film school was like, dude, I'm not an athlete. Like, fuck is this? Film school is so competitive to get into. It's like impossible to get into. Like, if you're some kid that's like, I just want to make movies and shit, like, you're not gonna get into fucking film school, dude. Like, there's kids out there that have been like doing that and have connects. And
like Steven Spielberg's kids have a tough time getting it. It's competitive.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's like I mean, you're dealing with everybody who's already a director or producer's kid.
Especially in LA.
Especially in LA.
I didn't know all that. I was
No,
just
I mean,
like,
who knows?
yeah,
He's like, I'll go to LA. I'll go to film school.
Yeah,
Which objectively is a smart move, but like, yeah. And then I had a friend whose son got in, and then a lot of them don't finish. It's just getting in.
Mm-hmm.
You get into USC, you go for 1 year. During the summer, you work on somebody's film, and then and a lot of kids don't even graduate. But it's just like, if you getting in means you're gonna make it in the film business almost.
Yeah, just having that one in, and
Yep.
like I know people that just moved to LA and they help some lady with her groceries or something, and she's like, "Oh, I'm a producer for for a big company. Why don't you come over and
help me with groceries over there?" And then you PA, and the next thing you know, you got a production credit, and then
next thing you know, like I have a friend that's what happened to him, and now he's like the head of like lighting department, like telling people what to do. And
right,
it's like
then you become that douche, like,
yeah.
I said oat milk, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. Said oat milk and my matcha.
Exactly. What is this? Soy? I'm allergic to soy.
Yeah, I mean, like, Los Angeles is crazy, dude. Like, I don't know. It's fun being in New York because it's such a different vibe. Because out there, you definitely have that Hollywood shit, which is like so weird. I mean, even to this day, even though I'm in it like all the time, it's just like, fuck do these people think they are? Like, I don't know, but.
But so you were out in LA
nice.
it's dope. So you were in LA, you figured out that getting into film school was going to be a much more rigorous.
Yeah. So I don't know. It all felt kind of hopeless. I mean, when you're a kid, it's like what the fuck am I gonna do? So a lot of time I just like skipped class and stayed home and made beats and smoked weed. I was just like they got legal weed out here. I love weed. I was like, I love weed. Like I love weed so much. Like when I was a kid, like that was like a big part of my childhood. Like even till now.
Do they grow? Obviously they grow, but you must have some interesting strains on an island out in the middle of nowhere.
It's always like, I mean, now they're legalized, but like at the time, you had the indoor stuff, which is like the chronic.
Yeah.
Then you had the regular stuff, should we call it, homegrown, which is homies, and be like, homies, you get the chronic. And then maybe if they had the chronic, they'd have a strain. But this is kind of like laid the foundation of taste for me. It's like, this weed's good, this. And that's how, like, eventually led to, years and years down the line, I'm like, it felt natural to get into wine because cannabis is something that, eventually you understand the taste of it and how it affects you, and you work your way up, and that's what I did when I got to Los Angeles. The second time around, I just worked my way up in that world in podcasting, working for Be Real from Cypress Hill, who smokes the best weed in the world, like hands down.
I don't doubt that. We're going to unpack it later. I don't doubt that. So many interests, but there is an intersection like of music, food, fashion, and wine in your life. What was like your first interest growing up? Was it being in the kitchen with your mom cooking? Was that like your first, or did you always love music? Was there music in your house growing up?
Music in my house growing up was always like, I don't know, my dad would listen. He was like a huge Beatles fan. Mm-hmm. So like Beatles and I think like Chicago and Journey and stuff like that. That my mom would listen to like a lot of classical music and like Nat King Cole. So you had like my mom's family, like they all listen to like Nat King Cole and stuff like that. Fairly like safe, like boring stuff. I mean, it's cool. I love that music. It's like not boring, but for a kid, like, when I was growing up, the music that I really liked was when I first started getting into music. It was introduced from Chappelle's Show.
Okay.
I would watch Chappelle's Show and I'd be like, oh shit, like he's, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, like what's that? That was like my first like music, like getting to when I was like 12 or 13.
That's interesting that you were because I'm so much older, but like you made a good point. Arsenio Hall, you can look, but he was the guy who used to break, like he put like hip hop artists on, he put a lot of people on, and Chappelle did like Mos Def and Kweli, Kanye, like early on.
Did Arsenio have Gangstar on?
I don't think he ever had Gangstar
or
on.
Beastie Boys. I think he had.
He probably had the Beastie Boys. He probably did, but I mean, oh man, we gotta talk. I mean, you're a DJ, man. How fucking sick is Primo?
DJ Premier? He's great. I don't know, man. I listened to before flying out here like a few months ago. I listened to, man, I can't even remember the name of the record. I'm so bad with names of records, but Gangstar, the one with Guru, and he's talking about moving to Brooklyn. I listened to that song or the Planet. That's the name of the track. But yeah, DJ Premier is he's got an undeniable sound. That's what I like about it. It sounds like him, like when you hear his beats.
Right, you know, like, a Primo beat.
Yeah,
you know it's like it's Primo.
Yeah, it sounds like DJ Premier.
Yeah. So you come up listening to Nat King Cole, a massive Nat King Cole, Journey, the Beatles, and yet like, well. And then, like you said earlier, when you came out, you're like this dark child. You're making skulls, like,
yeah.
And your beats are very industrial. They're dark. They lean dark. I mean, they're not. They just
Pretty
have a heavy sound to them.
And that was like definitely from the influence of, like high school years, like when I would start smoking weed. Like I started smoking weed. I remember
back then you said, "I love weed."
I love weed. No, but like. I could definitely do with that. I got no attachments, but cannabis had done a lot for my life very strangely. Like, so, I remember when I was 15, 16 maybe, and we were about to watch a movie, and me and my friends were smoking a joint, and somebody puts on some Cypress Hill. And I was just like, what the fuck are we listening to, dude? This is the coolest shit I've ever heard. It was Be Real, and he's singing I Want to Get High. He's like, I want to get high. So high. And I was just like, dude, this is the coolest song I've ever heard about getting high. Like, because before that song, like, smoking weed is like, oh, man, like, we're kind of shade, like, whatever. Then you hear somebody singing about it, I was like, this is the coolest. This makes weed smoking cool. Like, fuck, I feel so comfortable. Then eventually went on and worked with Be Real.
I know, that's kind of crazy that you're sitting there and, like, you're getting high to Be Real with his nasally... I want to get high.
Then 10 years
and
later...
you're like, I want to get high with that guy. And you have. That's what's fucking
Yeah, then 10
crazy.
years later, I got high with him for like 7 years, dude. Like 7 years straight. Like getting high every single moment. Anytime you're around Be Real, and if you smoke weed, you're getting high. Like, that's just what... You're smoking really, really, like... That guy has people bringing him weed, like, all the time. Like, it's the king of weed. Like, he's got people... I mean, there's only so many. There's, like, Tommy Chong, like him... You get some other guys, but he's like really deep in the connoisseur level grade stuff.
This one's got, for the record, I didn't smoke before I came in here, people, just so you know.
Yeah.
Because I could never do this banged up like that.
Really?
But I couldn't. Not, I mean, I might do some Lost episodes like that at one point.
Yeah.
But I thought also the timing, like I did stay up late last night doing my research, watching the... Cypress Hill documentary that's on Showtime.
Oh, fuck, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, yeah, okay, but you've lived it. So, you know what? Because we're just probably gonna go off on a tangent from here on out, and like I probably should space this out, but before I forget,
what do you got?
We're gonna take a quick break so we can insert the sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, man.
Okay, we're back. So we're about to start riffing on music and more with Skinny Pablo. So when did you make like your first official track? No, let me back up. When did you make your first track, and then tell me about your first official track? Because it sounds like you loved sound and creating things your whole life here.
I started off as a drummer, so on the island of Guam. I mean, my first official track. I mean, official recording. I used to take videos of myself drumming like all the time, just so I could watch it back. But I guess that might be if those videos are anywhere, like Mom, I'll make it worth some money someday. But
he's like gotta buy his IP back from his mom.
Yeah, but
she's like, that's my IP.
Yeah, she's like, this is my fucking little Sony camcorder tape. But I remember just like my friends would come over to my house, and one of them had GarageBand on his computer. And this is like probably like 2008, 2000, maybe 2007. High school friends was over. Then I made a track, and it was probably really whack. I can't really remember, but did that. Then I really started making beats when I moved to LA. The first time around to go to film school, because I'd skip class and just like make beats.
Right.
And I don't know, man. The way I got into beats is kind of like, it's kind of fucked up because I was like a really bad kid at the time, like mischievous. Like I used to like steal things and like be fucked up, like be like not a cool person. Like I look at myself like, man, what the fuck were you doing? Like, but when I first got to LA, I attended this film camp at UCLA where I got kicked out. Should I explain?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I got kicked out. All right, so I get there. It's like a film camp at UCLA where they put you in dorms, like you're actually attending UCLA film school. And the kids I was in the dorms with, there was like this one neurotic kid that was like, he's like 17, 16, and he's got like all these medications on him, right? And there's another kid.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, right. I was like, okay. I was a little stoner kid at the time, and he explained to me, he's like, yeah, this is Ambien. My mom said that if you take it and you don't fall asleep, you'll go crazy. And in my mind, I was like, that sounds fucking awesome. Like, let me go crazy, dude. So like, oh man, it's so bad. But I like talking about this because there's some redemption in the story. But anyways,
totally.
like. So I steal this kid's pills. I look it up on his laptop. He goes out to party, whatever, with the other kids in the dorm. I go on his laptop, like, and start looking up like dosages, like how much am I supposed to take? And I wound up taking his pill. Like me and the other kid that were in the room, like I was like, all right, I'm gonna take 2 of these things, and their kid was like, yeah, I'll take 2 too. I was like, all right, let's take these. And I just remember. Or first off, I was like, how the fuck is this shit legal? Because I was like spacing out. Like it was crazier than any like mushroom dosage or LSD trip ever. Like, I mean, so everything was crazy. And the other kid that took it, he wound up like flipping out and like ratting. He'd be like, Skinny Pablo's the one. He fucking told me to take the pills.
Hacked your computer.
Yeah, yeah. So he, dude,
he gave it up.
we were all asleep, and the next thing I know, like I wake up and like like this dude was staying on the mattress above me, and his mattress all flipped over, and he's in the room like freaking out on Ambien, and I was like, oh man, he's having an adverse reaction, or whatever. But yeah, he told counselors, and they sent us to the hospital, and I don't know, I was so out of it, like, from taking that stuff. It was crazy. I was like, I would never take that stuff ever again in my life. Like, that stuff is, like, it's scary, But, so, that happened, got kicked out, and on the way getting kicked out, they made me wait in a room with a bunch of suitcases. So, I was just like, well, fuck, they're kicking me out. I'm going to go through the suitcase right now. And it was, like, the cheerleader camp suitcases. So, like... The first thing I pull out was an iPhone, right? I pull out this fucking iPhone. And I'm like, this is mine now. Then I go back. They sent us back to the dorms. I'm like, all right, I need a charger for the iPhone. There was some kid flashing off his iPhone 4. I took his charger.
Just snatched it.
Just
give me that, nerd.
No, he was at camp, and I took it out of his drawer. Like fucking I did that. And then I wind up getting kicked out, sent back to my uncle's house in Palos Verdes, and like I'm at my uncle's pad, and I have this phone, and I was like, "Hey man, you got like?" He's like, "Oh, you're back so early." I'm like, "Fuck." So I'm like, he knew I got kicked out. I was like, "Hey, can I borrow some headphones?" Like I got this iPhone, and I unlocked the iPhone. So I don't know how it wasn't locked, but I unlocked the iPhone, and I started looking through the music, and I was really big into hip hop and all that shit, and I saw on the iPhone. There was some Wu-Tang Clan on there. It's like, fuck, I love Wu-Tang. Everything else on the iPhone was whack. It was just like, I don't know what it was, but they had Wu-Tang Clan on there. And with the Wu-Tang Clan, they had some collaborations with this dude, MF Doom. And I saw MF Doom. I was listening to the beats, and I was like, man, these are fucking dope beats. Like, what is this? What are these sounds? Like, what is this? Like, and eventually, I went on the road for a little bit. I had to go. My uncle was like, you got to just, I don't know, just go do something for like 2 weeks. Go hang with your friends up in San Jose. So I went to San Jose, listen to all these beats, listen to this phone. I eventually, like, I don't know, gave it to my friend, exchanged for like beer or something. Being underage, I don't know, whatever. But I listened to that music, and I made sure to take note of it. I was like, who's MF Doom? Like, why has he got these cool beats? And MF Doom did a project with Madlib called Mad Villainy, and that's like their greatest, like that's like one of the greatest, like
That could be one of the greatest. That's definitely top five hip hop albums of all time.
It's their like most notable work that everybody's just like, wow, like what is this? It's a great piece of art. So I found that. Yeah. Then I started diving into, well, it was a MF Doom J Dilla song. So I found out about both those guys, and I think I started diving into Doom. Then I found out J Dilla also did a Madlib collaboration, and this is a couple years after J Dilla passed. So I found out, about his music, and I just listened to it all day and be like, dude, these are like the coolest beats ever. Before that, I was really into reggae, like before leaving the island, super into Jamaican reggae. But so I listened to my Jamaican reggae, like Lee Perry, Trojan music, and J Dilla and Madlib. And Cypress Hill at the time, and like that's all I was listening to when I got back to LA, and I'd skip class and just like make beats. I figured out that they were sampling music. I had no idea. Like I was like, how do you make your music sound like that? It's like, oh, they sample. They take a song and they cut it up and they make it into another beat. Like they make it into new music. And the record label that came out on was called Stone's Throw, and those guys had beat battles. So Stone's
Throw, shout out to Peanut Butter Wolf.
Yep, they had a message board which is no longer around, and they had this message board where they post a song and they'd be like, here, take the song, sample it, whoever samples it the best, like everybody who makes the beat flips it, we all get to vote, like democratically, like what we vote for who we think is the best. Whoever gets the most votes gets to pick the next sample for everybody to flip into something dope, and I eventually won like a couple of them.
Oh shit!
From making beats on there, and I made friends on there, that message board, and like that got me really into making beats and like figuring out like what engineering is and audio engineering, and eventually like I was like dropped out of film school eventually, and I was like, oh, what's all this audio stuff? Like let me learn that, and started learning audio and mixing and music, and eventually got, years and years down the line, I got a degree for music production from Berkeley College of Music, which is like, I mean, it's probably one of the top music schools in the world, I think. So.
For sure. Couple of things, man. For those who don't know, I mean, just Google Stone's Throw Records is like a vanguard defender of hip hop, not rap. There's a difference between rap and hip hop, but like just crazy. And then everybody you name, like Madlib, J Dilla. I mean, there's a certain number of listeners who are familiar, but most, don't know. Like, and for me as an East Coast guy, like those cats were like down in Oxnard. I was living out there that time. They were down in Oxnard. Yeah, they were down in Oxnard, just
Oxnard and Detroit.
Yeah, and it came over Detroit, and there's a great De La Soul track called My Rights with De La collab with a Exhibit and the Licks. And they say, and J Dilla did a beat, and they're like, smuggling these beats from SC, and so yeah, Stone's Throw is dope. Now, you said you were into, and Berkeley. So how'd you do Berkeley? Did you live on the tour, or did you do a remote? Or
I did that all online. I was probably one of their first online graduating classes, and I did that while I was working for Be Real, like getting high every single day. I go home, work on school and make beats and some, start a DJ. But
so yeah, you're working on a career in music, and land recording credits with like Lee Scratch Perry, which is probably later because I know he just passed, and I just some Public Enemy, and then Cypress Hill. How did you connect with Be Real and from Cypress Hill?
That was just through the chat room, like
really
through internet chat room. Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
Wow. Because he had a network at the time, and he had a bunch of other shows that were recording at like this. They were recording out of a studio, but it was live, like all live chat rooms. So you'd be talking, and like there was this one show over there where I was like, hey, you guys need an intern. This is when I was in Salt Lake City. I was like, you guys need like an intern or photographer, because
I'm trying to figure out the timeline with this guy. But anyway,
yeah, we're going Tarantino mode right now.
Yeah, totally. This is like Memento. We're working backwards,
flashing
back.
Working backwards.
Keep up, y'all.
Yes, keep up. Whatever.
All right, so they had it through a chat room. They were doing. Yeah.
They had a chat room, and I'd just be in there talking shit all day, like with the other chatters, and like making friends in there, and yeah, eventually I was like, hey, you guys need a photographer or something? Like, yeah, just give us a call and this and that. So the show that was there called Heavyweights Radio, eventually when my girlfriend was like, oh, I'm going to move out to California, move to Los Angeles, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I'll follow you. Then just start interning for that show. Then eventually they're like, oh, you know how to like engineer and run Pro Tools and all that? Why don't you do it for B Real's show? So I started doing it for B Real's show, his studio. And yeah, man, then after that just kept building up more responsibilities for the studio until I was basically just fucking doing everything. Like, did everything in the studio, anything that's studio work, lighting, camera, audio, like I did it. Then, I was there for 7 years until felt like I was like, all right, I basically like reached the peak here. You got a good stat. Like, you guys are good. I got to go like run a business now.
So let's talk about those 7 years. So you said like, because I just watched the documentary on Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
And you said something earlier about how, like, he made it, and not even so much cool as, I think made it okay. Kind of, he was really big on normalizing.
Yeah, normalizing, legalizing.
And on one level, they paid a price because, I remember when they were on Saturday Night Live, and they were like, you cannot smoke marijuana in here.
That was DJ Muggs who just like said, fuck all this. Like,
exactly.
I'm going to smoke weed.
Yeah, and they were like,
get banned.
Yeah, and of course they during the song was, we ain't going out like that. So they were going out like that.
Well, apparently in the story like that I've heard from B Real.
Yeah, so that's what I want. Tell us the story because you've been with him.
Well, I've heard it a few times, and he's like, yeah, we didn't even know like at the time like Muggs was just gonna do that. Like we all kind of like they were like, yeah, we're gonna keep chill until the very end. I think they just started playing that song, and like Muggs started smoking weed and like trashing the set, and they were all just like, Eric Bobo's there, like playing the bongos, and it's gone. Like they didn't like they were kind. It was all kind of. It wasn't coordinated as they liked it to be, but yeah, that was Saturday Night Live history. There's a whole. Pretty sure if I went on Saturday Night Live, I got banned. Fuck.
Keep your suitcases away.
But I mean, like.
No, but
that's fine. Saturday Night Live is like.
No, I mean it's perfect. I mean, but like the documentary was saying, like literally. Yeah, people in hip hop smoked weed and talked about rolling L's and smoking blunts, but like that, they lived it. They walked the walk.
Oh yeah.
So, what you must have. There just must have been icons just coming through the studio being his podcast. You must have dealt with so many.
Dude, I got to hug Mike Tyson. I got to see Joe Rogan. I got to see like all the hip hop like legends like. It's a huge list, dude.
I would think like every Snoop and B Real must have smoked weed once before.
You know what?
But I don't know if you saw him.
I didn't see Snoop when he came through, but he's been through there, and like it's it was an amazing time, amazing place. I'd do the audio and make the music for the channel for the smoke box. Like people get in this car and smoke a ton of weed. With dude and get interviewed. Like, it's like this, but they're in a car and just smoking it out.
So it's like comedians in cars smoking weed.
Yeah.
With Skinny Pablo or musicians. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'd be musicians,
Wow.
actors, like all kinds of people, like, and they just be hotboxing this car. But like, and they bring extra smokers in there. They bring like 2-3 smokers in there to smoke in the car while like, the guest is
just
in there.
Just to keep the vibe going.
To get the guests like as fucked up as possible, basically. But. It was an interesting time. It was just it's still going on. So shout out to them for, paving the way for smoking weed in the car to extreme limits. I've had all kinds of Mike Tyson. Oh man. So Mike Tyson, it was a disaster story when I met him though, even though I give him a hug. You want to hit? You got time?
Sure. We have time.
Okay.
Don't hit me, Mike Tyson.
No, Mike Tyson.
I'm kidding.
No, I love Mike Tyson. I can't wait for him to be on this podcast.
Listen, I'm feeling that. Good shout out.
Mike Tyson, Mike, if you're out there, I love you. But so this is what happened. Mike Tyson was coming by the studio, and I was like, "Yo, we should roll like a giant joint for this shit." B-Roll's like, "Yeah, let's do that." And he brought like 3-4 ounces of weed. And like we're like, okay, we're gonna roll this thing.
It's like
before
literally
for
like
Mike.
like a Cheech and Chong fucking
Yeah,
joint.
yeah. We're gonna like roll this thing for Mike,
Like
and
the
then
size of a fucking baseball bat.
yeah, yeah. No, it was like I have a picture with us, but like so we're rolling this. Wait, we didn't even roll the joint. Like B-roll's like, okay, here's the weed for the Mike Tyson joint. Like we gotta roll this shit before he comes on Tuesday or whatever it was.
Because it was like an industrial. It was like a project.
Yeah, yeah. So we cut. So
Got
I
a backhoe. Beep,
So I'm
beep,
like,
beep.
you know, a lot of people at the studio weren't, I don't know, like super experienced rolling big joints, but I had done it like before for my birthday. I'm like, yeah, rolling giant joints. So I'm like, yeah, we got to roll it. Has to be rolled. So I come in and it's all, like I come in the day Mike Tyson's supposed to be there and it's already made. Like the joint is there. I'm like, to whoever made it, I was like, yo, did you roll it? He's like, no, I stuffed it. I'm like, dude, it can't be fucking stuffed. It's not going to work. The fucking filter is going to be, it's going to be filled. So, like, we got to re-roll it. So, me and, like, another dude rip off this filter, re-roll the whole joint. But we didn't, like, the glass filter, we didn't check that it was still stuffed. Like, the dude stuffed it, so it's still stuffed, but it was wrapped in paper, so we didn't look at it, but we re-rolled the whole thing, like, 3 ounces, and Mike Tyson gets out of the car after they just got done smoking. We have this huge joint, like the size of this table, or this TV.
Monitor, yeah.
Yeah, the monitor. And, you know, I bring him the joint, and I give it to Mike, and he pulls out this torch lighter. We're lighting it, and he's going to pull it, and it's, like, not pulling, dude. It's stuck. And we're all just like, I'm like, fuck, what are we going to do? I'm wearing, like, a Hawaiian print shirt, and Mike Tyson's there, like, he didn't even say anything. He was just like in his head. It's like, it's not working.
Motherfuckers don't know how to roll a fucking joint.
Yeah, it's just like I guess they don't know how to roll this joint. Yeah, so the joint didn't pull, and B-roll's like, dude, fucking do something. And I was like, oh shit. Then I just like ripped out that glass tip, which is the whole point because that's like what he makes. So he makes these glass tips for joints, rip it out, and it's like stuffed. I'm like, fuck, what are we gonna do? But then it started really smoking after that. But by that time, like Mike already like pieced out. He's like, I left El Pollo Loco for everybody. Like, he brought chicken for everybody. And then, so basically, like, wasted a ton of weed. Like, it didn't pull. And then it did make the news in Germany, though.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. I mean, but they didn't know, like, that it didn't pull. But to other people, it looked like, oh, shit, Mike Tyson smoking a huge joint. Look at that. You could probably look it up on Google or something, like. But yeah, I rolled that joint that didn't work. It was like a great like stoner blunder. It was like the Titanic of stoner fails.
It was like a Cheech and Chong scene. Yeah, almost.
Yeah, it did, dude. It stopped working, and then Mike was like, "All right, peace out," and then that was it. But then I ate the Pollo Loco after that, and I think it changed me. Like, you know, it turned me into a champion. Like the chicken that he left, like only 2 of us ate at the studio. We saw it. I was like, yo, it's Mike Tyson's chicken. He left it for us. The food of champs. So, yeah, man. I don't know.
Oh, man. That's an awesome story. Thanks for sharing that.
I don't know. Yeah, it happens. You know, you fail at rolling joints for Mike Tyson.
Yeah, not many people can say that. So, I mean, you know. Yeah, there's a handful of people in the world.
I'll take responsibility.
Exactly. Man up. So you mentioned that you started like interning, and then by the end you were doing just about everything in the studio. You were basically running the whole studio, and then you said that it was time for you to do something next. So what was next for you?
So next was just focusing on just.
And what year was that roughly?
This was like last year, 2020.
Okay, so during the pandemic, right? That's when you
2021.
You started teaching people how to make different beats and sound effects, and Make Beats Not War. Talk about.
Oh yeah, so Make Beats Not War. That was a show I did 300 episodes of.
Damn.
And we did 300 episodes of just like making beats. Yeah, starting to study wine because it started when the pandemic first hit because we were all like, well, we're not showing to the studio. We're all gonna work from home, so we're working from home. I'm like. I was always making beats at home. I was like, I really want to stream this shit, like show people like what I'm doing and just get a nice little crowd. And yeah, we did that for 300 episodes, just like live on pretty much every day, like 5:30 in the morning. I get up, just start pumping out beats, like going crazy. That's how we're going to do it. Make Beats Not War. Then, eventually just kept evolving the show, but then eventually got burned out, man. It fucking burned me out, like on the creativity level. Like I felt like I was like, man, all right, I gave you guys enough.
I just need to be alone, like, for a little bit, just to compose myself, you know, because when you're constantly in front of a live crowd, like, you feel like you gotta appease them, you know. It's like you're the most important person, like, when it comes to creativity, you know. It's what makes you on your inside, your spirit, happy. But, you know, and in turn, if that makes other people feel good, then that you've accomplished something, you know. But yeah, that show was really crazy. We went through a few seasons of that where the show would change. Eventually it got like really ridiculous. Like, you know, we have a monkey that pop up on screen and like a toe, like animals and like all kinds of stuff, man. It was like, it even got like really deep, like stoic, like philosophical at points. And, you know, we would study wine, we'd smoke weed, we'd eat mushrooms on the show and make beats. And like, you know, the chat room is always really cool. Some of those people I call my friends to this day. Like, you know, it developed basically a cult following. And every once in a while I'll hop on just to like surprise them and be like, all right, let's do this, you know, when I do have time. But yeah, eventually I just started going really hard into making beats and getting to, you know, accomplish things in the business side of it and making records and just developing all my interests into something that I can make a living off of. And it's just very interesting. I don't know. It's a very weird way of life where you're like, right, I got to make something, I got to write something, I got to do something. Otherwise, like, you know, I'm not accomplishing what I need to do to do that, like pay bills and like stuff like that. But when you do pay bills off, like what you create, it's the most fulfilling thing ever.
This podcast is so fulfilling. I'm like, I'm making it work somehow.
Yeah, make the podcast work.
It's like an own it.
Yeah.
You said how did you become to start studying wine?
Studying wine.
Yeah.
Oh man, such a wonderful experience. So I started studying wine because I would, you know, I was really into record collecting, and I'd go to this place called Rap Cats, which, you know, tying back to Madlib, his partner, Egon was, you know, they were doing pop-ups at the shop. So, you know that when you go there, it's all curated. You know it's going to be great records. So I'd go down there all the time, just like high as fuck, and like go dig records. And we'd dig records, and there'd be free beer. I'm like, I love free beer. Like, let me get that. I'm partying. I'm from an island. And then there would be wine there too, which I didn't really take notice. But the thing that got me into it is that one day pizza showed up. It was like Triple Beam Pizza in Los Angeles. Great pizza place. This pizza showed up. And I was like, what the fuck is up with this pizza? I tried it. I was like, dude, this is the greatest pizza I've ever tried. And it turns out that our friend, my mentor, Soil Pimp Robert Dentis, ordered this pizza. And I was like, yo, what's up with this pizza? I think, and, you know, I was starting to get really into food. You know, I cook at home all the time still. I was always constantly cooking, like, thinking of things. And I'd see the food that he was eating. And he's eating at places like Noma. And I'm like, what is Noma? Like, what is that? And I look it up, I'm like, holy shit, these guys are like, this is like some next level food. Like, what is this next level food? And so I'd start hitting him on Instagram about food, and he'd be like, yeah, go eat here, and there in Los Angeles. And then come back, you know, whenever they do a pop-up, I'd show up and talk to him. Then, you know, I eventually, well, so back to B-Roll TV, there was one year where we had to name a bunch of strains of weed, like 70, 80 strains of cannabis, where this breeder came in with all these strains of weed. We had to rate the weed, describe its taste, and like name it.
Sounds like a blind wine tasting.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So it's all new weed that like nobody's ever smoked, and we did that. And Soil Pimp was like, "Oh, like you're doing that. What do you think of this wine?" You know, and he started sharing the wine with me. He's like, "What would you rate this wine? You know, with your weed palate?" And to be like, dude, this thing, like, to me is like I think he shared some Keller with me. I was like, this is like a 9.2 out of 10. Like, you know, whatever that means. Like,
right.
This is some great, like, I've never tasted anything like this in my life.
Yeah.
So I started really just getting, you know, just asking, like, what do I drink? And just, you know, see what they're doing. And eventually, yeah, man, just started finding bottles in Los Angeles, and which LA is not huge on German Riesling. It's kind of hard to find. I mean,
Sure.
it's there, but you can't just go to any wine shop. You gotta go to like a list. There's like 5, 6, 7 different wine shops where it's like, oh, this is where you can find that stuff, and the rarity of it and all that. It started diving into it when the pandemic hit, and Soil Pimp would send me, flights of bottles. He'd be like, oh, like, here, study these, like, try these out. We try some NorCal wines, some Bukowski, some Riesling in different regions of Germany. So during the pandemic is where I started, like, really learning about it. Then eventually start going out and venturing myself. And just finding out, it's like, man, I fucking love Mosel Riesling. Like, the acidity of it, especially Stein, I don't know. It was just always very, very pleasant to my palate. I'm not like a wine expert by any means, but, even wine I went to school for, like I took a free class on Coursera from UC Davis. They have a wine sensory technique, so they're like, oh, go out and get these wines and taste them and like write your notes and pair them with foods and do all that, just expanding the knowledge of the wine and learning where it comes from. Like I really like this wine because I know exactly where it comes from. It comes from Uli Stein. Like I get to look up on get to look up videos of this dude, and he just seems like a really cool dude, and that's a part of why I like certain wines too. It's like, oh, it's like, who's making it? It's like it's by far like not the most expensive wine in the world ever. Like it's pretty accessible if it's around, and I really enjoy that. And he's an artist, so it's my understanding of it is, me being an artist, was like, this is art of some kind, and just really decided, I was like, man, I love wine. It's like, it's just a new addition to my life that's been pretty positive. Like the people I meet through wine, totally different than people I meet through weed, man. Like, just like, I'm like, holy shit, this is what I've been missing out on. Like the weed world, like, was kind of like, it being coming from an illegal background, like it kind of fucked everything up. Like, you don't necessarily meet the most wholesome people in the weed world.
Yeah.
Whereas in the wine world, like, you get all kinds of beautiful people that just they have great taste. Like, it's like, you got food, wine,
Yeah, it's a different, and that goes back to what we were saying in kind of like in the beginning, like of how, that's why RieslingStudy's so dope. I mean, like, it's just people who love food, wine, and music. Well,
that's what I noticed about the wine world is like, oh, usually, like, if you got taste in this and that, you probably have some good taste in music. And sure enough, like, the people I started meeting in the wine world, like, love music. And, there's people in the music world that love wine. And it's, they're all trying to find out, just learn more.
Learn more from each other.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Robert also, he's a DJ. So how did you come to DJ your first RieslingStudy event?
My first Riesling study, I think, was my birthday. I was just like, hey, I'm going to be in, want to go to New York for my birthday. And he's like, well, let's throw a Riesling study. Like, I think we did, it was 2 bottles of Stein. We did an unfiltered Stein and a filtered Stein. I think it was the Blauschiefer Blue Slate. Pretty sure, yeah, in 2020, like mid-pandemic, like where everything in the city was shut down. I decided to come out for my birthday, and we just flew out. I played some records. He played some records, and
Wait, which one was that?
Just me and him.
Wait, was that?
This is at Public Records.
Okay, I didn't make that one.
Yeah,
So
it was a pretty, like, it was super low key because it was like mid-pandemic, like nobody was coming out.
Like there was no vaccine even then.
Yeah, there was there was nothing, dude. Like it was just like, fuck it.
We got it. It's like, I've just been cooped up.
Yeah,
I need some wine and
exactly.
And
it's like, let's just go to let's go there.
Easy to buy out the place during the pandemic too.
And my first Riesling, it was basically just like a really small party of us. Like, I don't even know if like the restaurant was open. Like,
right.
But yeah, it was just
no, restaurant might have been open doing takeaway.
Yeah, it was very.
But no one was going to restaurants.
It was very low key, and like it was so much fun, and like we just got to study these wines, and like my first Riesling study, I learned a lot because like, dude, I basically drank like 2 bottles to the face, and then the next day I couldn't even like we went out for lunch and I couldn't even eat. So I was like, oh my God, dude, like I'm so hungover, and like we went to Roberta's Pizza, and like I didn't eat anything. Like I barely tasted anything. I was like, dude, I'm so hungover. Like I've never been that hungover in my life. Like, so I couldn't eat, and then I flew back home. I was only in New York for like 36 hours, maybe. Like fly in, drink, DJ, and fly back home. And then I found out that they had Roberta's in Los Angeles. So the first thing I did was like go to Roberta's in LA, eat the pizza. I was like, all right, this is what I missed out on. But so that one and like the one after that, still same story. Like, oh, I fucking drank way too much. Like, then you start learning. It's like, oh yeah, you got to drink like lots of water. Yeah. You got to learn how to spit your wine because, dude, there's so much. At the Riesling study in Chicago of December last year, like that was like one of my first official like. It's like, yo, I'm spitting until I gotta perform. Like, I am not gonna like drink this much wine because, dude, there was so much wine. Like,
you have to learn.
Yeah,
like
you learn.
You know, I think I'm pretty banged up, but like knowing now that like it's time, like someone will pour you something, and literally you might get one sip. And then someone's coming around with another fucking dope, and you got to dump it.
Yeah,
and,
dump
it. And nobody gets mad. It's not like nobody's like, you poured out my shit. No, it's like they understand because, you know, that's something people have to learn when you're. And Riesling study is a little different because it is a study, but it's a party too.
Everybody
so
is.
You gotta pace the party. You want to make it.
Everybody at Riesling study, I've never met like such extremely generous people. Like people are breaking out, you know, Keller G Max and like just pour up for everybody, like, you know, crazy bottles. Or it's like okay, you know, but
you go to most wine tastings, people got their prize bottles and they're hiding them. And but they'll flex and go around and pour their friends, and they'll look at you like you're not getting any.
It's like no, but a Riesling study is
not
interesting.
That way.
Like when you first start out, it's a little bit like. Yes, we're at dinner because it usually starts out as a dinner party. So we're all like, proper for dinner. Yeah. Well, we went to the one in Porcelain. It's like everybody's like proper for like at least like an hour. Then like 2 hours in, it's like fuck, bro. Like, it's just like everybody's pouring wine, like spilling wine. Like you got Riesling all over yourself.
Yeah, got Riesling. You know, the good thing about Riesling study is like the spills don't, you know, they don't stain your clothes.
Dude, I love getting Riesling spilt on myself. I'm like, anytime Riesling gets spilled, I'm like, it just means my clothes are gonna smell cool. Like I don't know, like okay. Yeah, I don't get mad about Riesling getting spilt all over me. Like, somebody tried to apologize. They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I was like, "No, man, like you don't get it. I love Riesling." All right,
this is a part of this. It's like an initiation. It's like a baptism.
Yeah,
if you will.
I'll pour this Riesling on my head right now. No, man, on the podcast for the podcast.
Do it for the art.
Yeah, right.
So, how did you connect with? Public Enemy and Lee Scratch Perry. So let's do Public Enemy.
Well, Public Enemy was through Cypress Hill. They did a they did a collab with them, and then I just recorded some vocals for B, and we got credits on that record. Like on their Def Jam record, I got like official credits on it. That was just like,
oh, that's dope.
Most people when you're in the recording, they don't give a fuck. Like they'll just be like, oh yeah, so and so record. They don't care. People don't care about credits, like crediting other people,
right?
You know, but those guys from that crew, like they hit me up. Like their engineer was like, "Oh, can we credit you on this Def Jam record?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll get my name on a Def Jam record." Public Enemy, Def Jam, Cypress Hill, produced by George Clinton.
Oh shit!
George Clinton made the beat. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Getting credits. I got 2 credits on there. Got my government name and Skinny Pablo.
That's what's up.
You know, different roles on the record. I was like, this dude's assistant engineer, and you know, Skinny Pablo's the lead engineer. And stuff. So, that and Lee Scratch Perry was during the pandemic.
Yes,
like he put out a tweet. He was like, "Hey, anybody that wants to work with me, like, you know, hit me up." Like,
and tell people who Lee Scratch Perry is, man.
So Lee Scratch Perry is
because most people don't know.
Wow, it's amazing. Like if you look up Lee Scratch Perry, he's basically, you know, the founder of, I'm gonna say, you know, what he started with the genre of, basically founded reggae music, dub music, all that stuff, where everything comes from, where it's pretty much like electronic music came from there, hip hop came from there.
Mm.
He started, in Jamaica, he made like the first like tracks that were just influential in that way. Like I've had people come up to me and like, yo, everything came from that dude. Like he invented like one of the first styles of like something that sounded like, it was all analog and just crazy sounding instrumental stuff that was totally unconventional. The sounds that he was picking, everything, and used samples, like all that stuff, and basically where majority of like modern day music stems from. Like if you look at it, like the history of it, like that from the genres that he created stemmed all kinds of stuff, and deep music heads will recognize. But Lee Perry, basically, like somebody told me, he's like, oh, it's basically like the Elvis of reggae, but everything that stemmed from reggae, all the electronic genres, I feel came from that, and it, like hip hop, house music, drum and bass music, all came from that. And Lee basically did everything in that. And, he went for about like 85 years. He made music for a majority of that time, like coming from Jamaica and doing all that. And one of the most important things Lee did was he founded like Bob Marley. Like he made Bob Marley's like first reggae recordings. Like before Lee, like Bob Marley was making milkshake and potato chips.
Yeah, I saw a picture. They were like Smokey Robinson, the Miracles. They had on suits.
Yeah, suits, and they were just doing American music, like covers.
Right.
Then he linked with Lee Perry, and Lee Perry was just like, fuck all that shit. Like he turned him to like a spiritual person, and just gave him a sound. He said he gifted Lee Perry reggae music, or Lee Perry gifted Bob Marley reggae music rather, and that eventually became what it was, and all the other stuff that stems out of it. But I'd say, yeah, just do your own research if you want to find Lee Perry. But I eventually went on to work with him.
So he just put out a tweet.
Yeah, he put out a tweet.
Who wants to work with? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like, email me this, and then I hit him up, and it was like, yeah, just throw me some euros and send me the music. And I sent him music, and he's like, oh, just send me some more music. So I was like, all right, I'll send you some more music. So I just kept sent him a couple tracks, like basically like hip hop, like reggae beats, and he sent me back like full take, like crazy recordings of like all kinds of stuff, like him saying like just everything that could be said under the sun, like stuff that you never heard anybody say before. It's like, what the fuck is he saying? He's saying like he's saying, and I'm not gonna even say crazy. He's like saying some majestic shit on these beats, and I was just completely mind blown. So yeah, I took those recordings. There's those original recordings, but me as a music producer, like I love producing. I'm like, all right, you gave me that take. I'm gonna take those takes and like split them apart and make those into songs. And the songs that came out of that were, it was music that I've never even made before. It was like electronic kind of like dance music, like Four on the Floor, where we were just making, like, he never really made music like that. I've never made music, but it's just what was inspired, and it's like really crazy, like dope. I love it. Came out sounding really dope. We still have a bunch of songs that we're just releasing on dub plates, even after he's passed away. But I'm working with his estate on just getting all this music out there, because the way I want to release the music was not all at once. I'm like, I want to just dole it out, because these days in music, like, you put out an album, people are gonna listen to one song and then it's done. It's like they move on to the next. It's the retention for things these days is it's just not there. Like I was sent an article that kids don't even listen to music.
Right.
Like they probably just listen to music on the TikTok. Like,
yeah, no,
like
I mean
15 seconds and that's it. Oh, that's a cool song. And that's it.
I mean that's the challenge. Like, in today's world is the
holding attention
and
attention
that,
span,
and that it's been dialed down. So that's, first of all, that's just so dope, that story. But then, like, so how did what was your first foray into fashion? Because you have Talk about what you're doing in fashion now and how you got there.
Fashion was made. I was really inspired from fashion by these cats. They go by a group Griselda, which is West Side Gun in Conway. Let's do Benny the Butcher, but West Side Gun, basically, he would always be like doing these drops, like, yo, check out these fucking crazy shirts. Like, there's only 50 of them. And I was like, man, that's like really inspiring. I want to make something. So I made this design. So this is a brand. So before Skinny Pablo, I was going by the name Ross Dude, like the Rasta Dude.
Right.
So like this is the Ross Dude brand.
Right.
And I made I hit up an artist like, hey, can you make like a nug smoking human? Then I hit up another artist. Then I hit up another artist, and eventually it came out to this design. Like it upgraded like over the years. So I was really into this graphic T-shirt design. And that's basically how I got into it. Then I started like doing patterns.
Yeah.
So I got a pattern like this and did it for myself and other people.
And you had like a Vans. You did like some sneakers.
Yeah. I got the Vans on right now. These ones aren't even available anymore. But we got we did a new line of sneakers just recently. But yeah, rossdude.com and skinnypablo.com. Skinny Pablo's got his own merch. Ross Dude's got their own merch. Then I do merch for another brand for this DJ named C minus. That one also looks cool. Then Lee Scratch Perry also, like, I made a brand for his. So yeah, just clothing design. I love just it comes out of love for art and just what's a more fun way to put your art on things and just put on some clothes. Like people walk around with your art all over. Like I know people that do graffiti, and it's like, okay, it's in one place, but
right.
you know, do graffiti.
People walk around in your tag.
Yeah, you do your tag basically, you know, hand style. Like you could put that on a shirt, and you have somebody walking around the whole world with it. You know, so yeah, and just also there was a point where I was like, everything that I wear. I don't know if it's like a hip hop thing, but I was like, everything I wear, I just want to be original. You know, so I got rid of like all my clothes. I was like, everything I wear, I just want to be something I created, you know, no matter what the fuck it is, like everything, like, and it comes from that too. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing what everybody else is doing, but yeah, I just felt like I was like, man, I just want to wear everything.
Some unique shit. No,
yeah,
I really.
Some unique, and it's also I'm running a business. I'm a walking billboard for
You're
my
a
fashion
business
brand.
man, like Jay-Z.
Yeah,
said.
exactly.
You're a businessman.
Jay-Z is like super inspirational. When he said that line is like, I'm a businessman. Like,
right, yeah.
It's like, you know, that's how you should be if you're getting into, you know, being an artist. Like your whole thing. But you know, whether you're doing music or cooking or any of that stuff, you know.
So that's dope, by the way. Shit's not cheap, but it's worth it. And we'll make sure all that stuff where you can find it's in the show notes for sure. Yeah,
of course.
Because it's very unique. It's one of a kind. It's limited.
Yeah.
You know,
all limited. Like, you know, and we come out with new designs as time allows, you know, like it's like, all right, we got this, like I'll see people wearing my other stuff. I'm like, oh, you're in that old thing? Like you better get the new stuff, sir. The update. Oh, it's like having an iPhone, you know, you got the iPhone 3. Yeah. It's like, dude, we're on iPhone 12 already. Like, you still got that? Like we're on iPhone 12 over here. No, but you know, shout out to everybody that's ever like acquired an item of mine, like, you know, super collectible. I love you guys like so much. Like it's forever grateful.
So you live in Long Beach now, correct?
Oh my goodness, Long Beach! I fucking love Long Beach. It's one of the best decisions I made, I think, in the past couple of years. Is to, you know, I was living in Los Angeles in all these different neighborhoods, and then eventually I went down to Long Beach to do a radio show, very much like this. I was like, dude, this place is great. Like, I just need to be here all the time. There's parks. You just hang out, you know, learning how to relax is very key in life. I mean, like, you know, I'll force myself, like, go to the lagoon, chill in the grass, look at the ducks, making it a part of my lifestyle, you know, like, in America, everything is like, oh, we got to do this and do that, and just, like, nonstop work that can definitely burn you out.
Yeah.
So just finding time for yourself to relax, like Long Beach delivers that. You know, for me, it's like, you know, you can find it out here, like you go to a park or something, but
I'm a water
No,
person.
I got to tell you though, I grew up by the Atlantic Ocean, and I love the ocean, but like the Pacific is a completely different ocean. It just has a completely different energy.
Yeah.
That just is, it's chill.
And
I don't know what it is. It's just chill.
I grew up looking at the Pacific Ocean, like the deepest part of it every single day, dude, like of my life. Like on Guam, we were there. The island is so small. It's like, it was like 8 miles wide and 30 miles up and down. So no matter what part of the island you're in, you're going to be seeing ocean, dude. It's an island. Like, you're going to be near the ocean, like 5 minutes away. It's just a matter of picking a spot. So, you know, that's something I always long for. It's like, just be near, like, some chill body of water.
Yeah.
Like, you just always have to do it. Like, you know, and it's a fun experience. It's just, you know, everything, modern day society life just starts to like stack up, and you got to kind of just like take time for yourself to think, you know. And that's where all the ideas come from, you know, by relaxing. You know, you think of things, you put fuckload of effort into it, then you know, life, I was told life is like a wave. You got to figure out how to just like find a balance so you're not going too far down or too far up. Like, you know, if you sleep all day, you're fucked. You know, like yeah, we all love to sleep all day, you know, but you know, working your ass off, then going to, you know, a park and lying down in the grass in the sun for a couple hours, you know, just taking a whole day for yourself. Like it's healthy, I feel like, you know.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, health is wealth, dude.
It is the ultimate. So talk about Riesling and Reggae. Obviously, you know, this is like something you started. When did you start it? And
we started doing Riesling Reggae pairings probably like just at the beginning of this year, I think.
Okay.
We did a first like really official one. It's something I started doing at a spot called Dudley Market, because they're one of the only places in LA that's got like a great Riesling selection, or a Riesling that I love. You know, they carry Stein and all that. So I just show up for lunch and start playing reggae there. Then we threw an official one at this spot called Bouvons in Long Beach, which is a new wine bar where they let us bring a sound system, like a Jamaican-style sound system. I'm just playing all these dope reggae records, and, you know, we picked out some Rieslings. And I just feel like it's a good, it's a great pairing, man. Like, reggae party music, lots of bass, Riesling, you know, it's not going to get you like too down. Something you can drink for hours and hours on end, and everybody can enjoy. Yeah. And, you know, it's a little more lively. You got that acidity.
Acid, yeah.
Yeah, the acidity. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's just what
cuts through the cotton mouth.
It's what I learned from RieslingStudy. Like going to RieslingStudy is like, holy shit, music and wine. Like, all right, let me do my take, which is basically just throwing reggae, because RieslingStudy is usually like a jazz, sweet soul.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's like all the music that got sampled in hip hop.
Yeah.
It's like the originals.
Yes. So great, man.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah. It's
like when you go, like, people like, and you know, most people your age don't even know, like, they think people don't even realize people like Biggie, like the Isley Brothers have been sampled so many times.
Yeah.
People, you'd be lucky for a kid in 20 to be like, oh, they sampled Biggie. Like, they don't even, like, no, it's not even.
No.
They sampled somebody who sampled that a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, not knowing the fucking origins of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, I forgot who Robert had to DJ at the Philly one, but I was like, that, like, he was one of the ultimate, like, he was playing all the quote unquote break beats. He's playing all the originals. Like, you're like, oh, that's Bonita Applebum. No, it's the fucking original song. Like, it's the, you know what I mean? It's like, and so that is that vibe. But then, you know, I mean, Riesling and Reggae, that is so West Coast.
Yeah,
because West Coast got that, they got that ska, like Orange County kind of white boy reggae that goes on.
Yeah, the reggae scene. Well, in Long Beach, like Long Beach they're really big into reggae, and the cuts that I'm playing are like,
because like Sublime was from there. Like,
Sublime was from there, and like all that. But
so they have an homage to it. It's different.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they have a fan base even in Jamaican music. Like, my thing is, like, I love Jamaican, like the deepest cuts, like of like, holy shit, like, what is this dude playing? Like, you know, where it comes from dub, whereas, like, you know, you get the I think a majority of people over there are like into California reggae, but I'm always like trying to just introduce like stuff that they don't necessarily know about.
Exactly right, because I mean, like the California reggae is fun, but like you said, man, like I remember just going to like house parties in college, and like Jamaicans, like you put your song out and then there's a version of it like the next week.
Yeah. But
remember like they do all the Tracy Chapman songs, like I mean like
it's kind of weird for me because I'm playing like reggae music that is too deep for people. It's like I'm playing I don't know if you ever heard of Prince Far Eye. Like Prince Far Eye is like this guy was like a major he was a producer as well, like Lee Scratch Perry. Like he would produce bands, but his content was very it was like very religious. Like he would it was like deep, like sad songs, but when you play it at 45, like it was so slow. Like his music is so slow, but when you play it at 45, it sounds like party music. But he'll be like reading like the 10 Commandments,
right? Psalms and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like Psalms for our eye. That's what he does. He reads Psalms from the Bible. But like that's but the rhythms and like the bass lines are like so crazy sounding, and like everybody that hears it is just like it's like what is that? And it's very special music. To me, that's just like it's very much along the lines of like that sweet soul gospel music that Robert incorporates into his Riesling studies. So like I'm playing something that's similar but very different. Lots of heavy bass. Like bass changes the vibe of any party. Like a good bass line, when you got strong bass lines and strong kicks and strong drums, like it turns anything into a party basically. And like. Yeah, so we're doing the second official one. I don't know when this podcast comes out, but we're doing another one in Long Beach on Friday, May 6th.
Yeah, that'll be long past.
It'll be long past.
Like we're like 2 months behind.
Okay, we'll have another one hopefully in the East Coast.
Yeah,
by then.
And like I said, we'll put where people can find you in the show notes, and they should get on your mailing list. So they can get it. And you were like on the road. You did an event in Austin. Like you're starting to take shit on the road now, right?
Yeah, man, I've been on the road. I don't know. It's really crazy because when I was younger, I didn't do too much traveling. I was mostly just like in LA for like years. Yeah. And just this past 2 years, like since the pandemic started, I started traveling.
So it's time to travel.
It's time to travel.
It's dangerous as fuck. Let me hop on a plane.
It's dangerous as fuck. What? I can get a flight for $50 like to New York. Like let's do it. Yeah. So like started traveling a lot, and
they're making up for that shit now.
Yeah, and playing all over the place in Austin. Wow, that was such a surprise. Like shout out to DJ Bourgeois. He flew me out, got me out there just after finding out that I DJ RieslingStudy. Yeah. So started DJing RieslingStudy, and other people in the wine world would take notice and be like, "What's this guy playing? Oh, let's have him come play over here." Or like, what's this about? So, I'm always happy to play any wine event. That definitely changed the vibe up. I don't know what they usually listen to at wine parties. Like,
they don't usually have music.
They usually don't, right?
Right? No. Or
champagne party. I want to play a champagne party, man.
Or it's fucking what it would be? It'd be like Muzak, right? It'd be like some program shit.
Yeah.
We can make that happen. Dan Bastian and Rodrigo, they go to Air Champagne Bar. We can hook something.
Yeah, I want to do a champagne. I think.
Look at Rodrigo and Dan got a shout out.
Outside of Riesling, I say like champagne or some Beaujolais.
Yeah.
So a red wine party sounds like too intense. So like
that's a bit. It's hard. It's hard. I love red wine. I mean, I drink a ton.
I love it.
But for Robert, I wouldn't. As much as I love Riesling, you just don't think to drink it. And I'm sure glad he reinvigorated that. I mean, speaking of Riesling, so you like Mosel Riesling is your favorite wine versus like the Falls or anything. What about Mosel Riesling? What do you like? What is it about Mosel Riesling for you?
Man, I mean, specifically, like I've tried Uli's stuff, and like you could taste that land, man. Like it tastes totally different. It tastes so different from anything else I try. I don't know. So in the wine world, I've only been in the wine world for so long, and I've started meeting a lot of people, and they drink all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And most of the time, dude, like I'm like, this stuff is cute, but it's not fucking Mosel Riesling, dude. I'm trying to get that thing that hits me in my jowls, like
gives you that TMJ thing, like makes your jaw lock up.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, like I'm smiling like the whole time, but the stuff that your teeth hurts the next day. But like, Yeah, man, that Mosel Riesling, like just the acidity of it. Growing up, I think it comes from growing up in Guam, being around like acidic, like highly acidic foods all the time, and it's just something that's very satisfying, man. Like it just like if the acidity is like down here or that barely there, I'm like, all right, cool. But once it starts like reaching up in your eyeballs, it's like fuck yeah, this is what I. It's like a high of some kind. I don't know, but then also it just tastes really good. You know, tried a few different of the slates as they call. Like they got blue slate, gray, red. So it's just the Riesling. I mean Riesling in general, man. It's so diverse. Like it's fucking insane. Like I can get a Riesling and taste like this and that, and they're all just all the same.
Yeah.
It's like people. We're all the same but different.
But different. Yep. So what was the bottle of Riesling that really just made you fucking fall in love?
Oh man. This one right here. The Alpha Holler.
Oh, really?
Alpha Holler. Yeah. That one, when I tasted it, I was just like, it's mostly the story behind it. It comes from a vine that's 120 years old, and it's farmed by Stein, who's also up there in age. Like it's just like it's some crazy plant scientist dude. I don't know. It's just that he loves what he does so much. Making that wine, and that's kind of like. It's like this dude loves his work so much. Like I love it too. Like it's a reflection of how much love he puts in. Like I can taste it. Like I can taste the love put in it, and it's something that I feel like. I mean, my knowledge is very limited, but it's something that I've only experienced in these wines. The other wines I don't know what it is. Like it feels like it's like it's more corporate or whatever, but this is like one dude maybe telling a few people what to do, but he's there, and he's putting all he's got into that wine, and it reflects. It's kind of like me making beats. Like I do everything myself. Like I could feel it. Like I feel like his soul into it. And this is what makes the wine so special. And this one, just being that it's on the most difficult slope in that area, it's really like, holy shit, this guy's going through all this work just to make barely any wine. It's not. He's not producing.
He's in it for the art.
Yeah, he's not producing 1 million bottles.
Right.
It's like, dude, this is so special, and the fact that we can get it in United States, like it's crazy. Yeah, because I know that the wine, it's like I heard that he just sells that shit like right there, like like whoever pulls up. He's not like super fit. He doesn't care. Like he'll sell it to anybody, but just pull up to the vineyard,
like old school, basically selling mixtapes out of the trunk of his car.
Yeah,
He's
selling
like,
a mixtape.
I got some wine. All right, man. So, what are you most excited about for the future for Skinny Pablo?
The future is very bright. That's why I wear these sunglasses on the podcast.
That shit was dope, by the way.
But the future, man. Well, in the future, probably by the time this comes out, I plan on being in Germany.
So you're going to Germany? Is your first trip?
I'm going to Germany first trip.
Oh shit, that's good. I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna be ready for him because Robert knows everybody. They know who the fuck you are.
He's gonna be there. We're gonna visit Uli. We're gonna visit Keller. We're gonna visit all those like the all the favorite producers I've ever drank from. We're gonna visit that in July. So if this is in July, we'll be there now. But going to Germany, then maybe taking some side adventures throughout Europe, and perhaps playing some music in a whatever wine bar near you.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely Los Angeles. Just keep it going and going strong. Then, remember earlier asked me what I like to do career. I'd love to open a wine bar. Like open a wine bar, something that's scalable where we can supply the whole world with like dope German Riesling and music, and like basically like whatever we do. like RieslingStudy, Riesling Reggae, like that on like a global scale. It's like, how do we get that to be around the globe or whatever shape they think it is? You know, like it'd be so great, like just to have this, because it's such a special party. It
really is.
It's such a good vibe party. It's like, man, it'd be amazing. Like, all right, it's fun that we're doing it here, but it'd be cool if we did it if everybody was doing
Yeah,
it.
and
Like everybody
how
was
dope,
doing
how
it.
dope if like every time there's a Riesling study, there was a Riesling study going on somewhere around the world.
Oh,
Like, same
each city,
time.
like each
Yeah.
city, it's like, oh, let's
Like,
all, it's
yeah.
Riesling Day.
Yeah,
fuck.
exactly. Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Riesling Day, we all listen to the same music, whatever. Like, you know,
Program the set.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. That, you know, like Rodney Dangerfield, just do a spiel. It's like, okay, here it is. We got these Rieslings, we got this music, we got these records, this food. Like, we're good. Like, everybody's gonna have a good time. Like, everybody. So it's like, how do you do that in, you know, let's just say like 25 places in the world at once? You know,
That's awesome.
just be a Trader Joe's of Riesling fucking parties, or just good wine in general. You know, that's the thing about Riesling, is it led me into figuring out what my tastes are, and like, you know, you'll taste certain wine. And given not every Riesling is my favorite either. Like, you know, that's why I like the Mosel stuff.
Yep.
I've tasted some Rieslings. I was like, Skinny Pablo doesn't drink cabinets. No, but like Skinny, you ever bring some Chalkin to Skinny Pablo right now? Like this is a little too sweet. No, but you know, whatever. Sweets are cool.
Yeah.
But you know, tried some good Chardonnay here in New York.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Yeah. No doubt.
Beaujolais.
No doubt.
Just still learning in those departments, but
Man, Skinny Pablo, thank you so much for coming in today.
oh,
Dude, this was dope as fuck.
thank you for having me.
Tell people where they can find you, how they can be a part of what you're doing.
Be a part of what I'm doing. Find me skinny.pablo on Instagram. You can find the clothes, some of the clothes, Ross Dude, Ross, RAS_DUDE, Haduda, pronounce it French. Mosel Music, that's my label. You can find our music, Lee Perry project, all kinds of new projects. Man, how many more links do I got? SoilPimpRecords.com. We release records with Soil Pimp. And man, I don't know what else do I gotta say. No idea. Shout out to Stein. See you guys soon. Go get yourself some Stein. Mosel Riesling. I'm pretty lit, I'm gonna say, off these.
Well, I
these
know,
bottles right
I
here.
know, and Skinny Pablo is definitely in the studio.
Skinny Pablo. Oh yeah, studio stuff. Look for the music. We're gonna be dropping a massive quantity of music very soon. Like, just beats for. We have at least like 24 hours worth of music for people to just like loop. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you find something new in there for the rest of your life. I think, you know, unless you really listen to music 24/7. But just be on the lookout, man. I don't know. Yeah, follow our social media at skinny.pablo.
We got you. We'll
Thank
have
you.
all those links. Everybody who's listening, don't forget to check out the show notes for each episode. That's where you'll find out info on the wine we drank in the episode, links to the cool things we discussed, and so much more. Until the next time, here's to the Mavericks, the philosophers, deep thinkers, and all you Riesling drinkers. It's your boy MJ. Peace.
Peace.